All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Quick video here. As you guys can see, Iraq looks to open the IMF, the International Monetary Fund headquarters in Baghdad. Okay, this is interesting. Wow. Can you imagine a war-torn country, like Iraq having a International Monetary Fund headquarters in Baghdad? Wow. That will be a statement, wouldn't it? That things have surely turned around in Iraq, and they are very, very, very indeed a wealthy nation, and people are going to bow to this nation. Remember, for their wealth for a short period, and this is a sign that we're seeing here that Iraq will be doing just that. Because if that is the case, that's huge, right? For the International Monetary Funds to have a headquarters in Baghdad. What the world? Baghdad? Iraq? Okay, so that tells you that we're coming to the end here of Iraq being in this quote unquote poverty destruction era, and we're about to see an era of basically liberation, victory, economic reforms. Okay, they did present the economic reforms to the World Bank and the IMF last week. Okay, so that should tell us something there that we are within range. I'm not sure if it's this month, next month, or by 1/1/18, but we are in range to see Iraq flip the script on being a war-torn country into a country of massive wealth, and those that are invested are going to be the ones who benefit from that, and those, of course, who jump on the ISX stock exchange will also see huge benefits if they jump in early right away. They'll see some huge benefits as well when the stock exchange, the ISX, goes live on NASDAQ and other places around the world. Much big money is going to come into Iraq, and people are going to make a ton of money on Iraqi stock exchanges. So yeah. Now, here's the thing: they have to get Britain involved, because Britain, I guess, has to give the go ahead in this. And so it's interesting that Britain's always there to have to get the go ahead in things in the Middle East. Britain owns a lot of land in the Middle East. I told you guys this before. When I was living in the Middle East, a lot of the buildings were owned by British people. The private security was run by British people. I mean, British people were all over the place. It wasn't anybody else, but it was lots of Brits. And you can see that, a lot of times you can see the difference between Americans and British and Australians, right? So when you see guys, I'm like, okay, that's another British guy, another British guy. Okay, something's going on. Okay, and I realized that British people had come there and bought up a lot of the land in the Middle East, and so when you're out in the Middle East and you're vacationing, a lot of times you're staying in a place that was built by the British, and this is what they're doing in Iraq now secretly, and they're also going to be doing openly in Iraq, is building lots of places and lots of new features and all types of new sculptures and skyscrapers. It's all going to be mainly from the British. Okay, I'm pretty sure China and Russia are going to have their imprint in there, and other places in America as well, but mainly it's going to be the British. So that's why they went to Britain for the International Monetary Fund headquarters, because that's the building and it's not the people. The people, you talk to America. The building, you talk to British. Okay, so it says here that the Foreign Minister Jafari Sunday that Iraq is looking forward to open the IMF headquarters in capital Baghdad. Okay, so there's a key word there. He says looking forward to opening. So it's already done. Okay, so it looks like it's already done if he's looking forward to opening the headquarters in the capital of Baghdad. Okay, so it looks like it could be in the green zone is where they might have it, which is, of course, the rich, safe zone for the politicians and the Americans and all the other people, the elites that come to Baghdad. It says here Jafari said during a meeting with Minister of State for the Middle East and North British Africa. Okay, Mr. Burt. Okay, he says Iraq is looking forward to Britain's support in opening the headquarters of the International Monetary Fund. Okay, so once again, so Britain, he's got to get the British support in this. for opening this headquarters, and of course they will. And most likely, either if it's not built yet, they will be British will be building it. The British will be building it, and if it's already up, I'm pretty sure the British did build it, right? Okay. So it says the IMF in Baghdad and a meeting of the Iraqi Business Council, British, during the coming period to increase cooperation, trade, and investment between Baghdad and London. Okay, so more meetings are coming up between Baghdad and London, and Jafari and the Iraqis are looking for British, to come in and either build the building, or if the building's already built, it was probably built by British, and they want them to support that building of the IMF. And so that when you say support, that means fund, right? Release some funds for us to to run the building, to pay people in the building, to pay if we have to pay the Iraqi IMF staff, in the building, support us on doing that, and we'll give you guys will have VIP access, and maybe they'll have some type of suites there. You can stay, you can actually stay there overnight in suites and accommodations and stuff like that. Or maybe hotels. Maybe they'll have hotels around close to the IMF building, outside of it. Of course, that building will probably be gated community building with high security in it. British will probably have their either military there, or with support, or they'll have private contractors most likely, and they'll have private contractors around the building, with maybe some Iraqi forces oversight. Okay, and then maybe blocks down they'll have hotels around there for people to stay overnight doing business at that IMF building. So that's pretty interesting that this is coming. Also, another thing that's happening right now is that the central bank reserves, foreign reserves, the foreign currency reserves continue to increase. Okay, that's another sign that money is pouring secretly into Iraq. Their currency reserves are increasing again. So they did another tally on that, and it's increasing again. Okay. Another thing was what was the other thing? Oh yeah, there it is right there. It's actually, they even have it. Parliamentary finance for economy news. The final decision to cancel deduction policy salary. Oh no, that's not it. Where was it? Oh man, I can't remember where it was. It was something about the release of good news. The release of good news from the, I think it was Parliament Finance Committee, was talking about the release of great news coming in the next few days for the employees and things of that nature. So I'm hoping that it's good news for the citizens as well. They were supposed to be releasing some funds and some other things like that. And I'm hoping they release purchasing power for the citizens, because they were talking about living conditions, living expenses, and things of that nature. That they were going to be drastically improving living conditions, and when you do that, that means that the price of goods are drastically down, and that means purchasing power for citizens, employees at the lower levels, of course. And so we're hoping to see something soon. Okay. I mean, we could talk about this till our head turn blue, but we are expecting to see something soon. There's too much good news here. We know everybody's talking about the MasterCard. I did do that. You can use the MasterCard in and out of the country. Okay, we are seeing that. Of course, the national settlement. The National Alliance is going to be holding a meeting this week to announce the date of the national settlement. Okay, so you would think, all of the things that they're about to do we need to see an international rate. The money needs to be able to leave the country and come into the country without any restrictions before we see any of these other big things they want to do. IMF headquarters in Baghdad, we need to see a rate. We need to see a movement of capital. People, the people that are going to be working in these buildings are going to be for international people. They need to be able to move money in and out. We got all these people in these companies that are getting ready to be able to move money in and out of Iraq, and to grow their business and do reconstruction. Right? We know that they signed the deal with British about reconstruction for 2018, but for America, they're starting reconstruction soon, right? Within the next few days, weeks, whatever the case may be. They have already signed the works for that. That's why the CBI and the delegation presented the economic reforms in DC, because U.S. is going to be first. They're going to be doing the reconstruction with the U.S. first. British will come on board in 2018 to go ahead and do some reconstruction projects. Will start for British January 2018. And so America's going to be first on doing that. Most likely is because we got a lot of troops in Mosul, and we're going to be reconstructing those areas, Kirkuk, Mosul, and Anbar, and the places that are heavily been trashed by Daesh. We're going to be doing that. Then once those clear up, it'll be by 2018 will come. Then British will come in there and handle the rest of the reconstruction with the rest of the world, right? So we'll be in there doing reconstruction because they're still battling, and the British forces. I guess the British Parliament doesn't want to come in until the battle is over. America doesn't care. We'll reconstruct while we're in war. We don't care. Okay. So that's what's going on. Lots of good news coming out of Iraq. They're still fighting, of course. They're about to start the launch of the Tel Afar battle. They've already started Tel Afar battle, but they're going to restart the launch. That's what I should say. I know the articles say they're gonna start the launch of the battle, but they've already started. They've been started, right? So they're probably done, and they're not letting us know, because we were so concerned about Mosul, that they probably finished Tel Afar while we were concerned about Mosul, and now they're going to tell us the story in their own words of what happened in Tel Afar. Tel Afar is probably done, and they're now going to tell us their scripted story. You see how they did that? You see how they were in Tel Afar, getting the west and east of Tel Afar, and then all of a sudden Tel Afar went blank, and everybody's focus went right back to the old right coast connector. We completed the right coast connector. We didn't hear a peep from Tel Afar. Why? Because they were dealing with Tel Afar while everybody was looking at the right coast connector. That's why. Okay, they probably dealt with Tel Afar. They probably dealt with Qaim. They probably dealt with They probably dealt with Rawa, and they probably dealt with Hawaji while everybody was looking at Mosul. They went in there and they did the job in those areas. They're going to tell you the story. They probably have somebody writing up the Hollywood script story about those areas, and when their scripts is done and it's all coded correctly, they will let you know about Tel Afar and all the other places, okay? And all the news about it will be freaking 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 months old, okay? And this is how the military operates, okay? I remember, and I even told Iraqi Day, that's how we, that's how we operate, right? Because I remember doing stuff in the military. The news wouldn't even come out in America for 3 to 6 months, and I was like, and somebody would tell me something like, "Dude, that was 6 months ago." And they were, "Oh, they made it look like it was yesterday." I mean, they were live, they were live on the scene, and and I was just, boy, that's how. I mean, sometimes they get caught doing that. A lot of times they don't, right? So it is what it is. This is how they do the news, and so that's what we're going to start seeing. We're going to start seeing things about Tel Afar, Hawaji, Qaim, and Rawa, and hopefully Alak, because he's talking right now and he's busy and talking. I like when Alak, and they usually make moves after they have a meeting with the IMF and the World Bank. So as soon as that meeting was over from DC, we started seeing a lot of things start coming out. Okay, so every time they have a meeting with the IMF and the World Bank, Alak starts to talk a lot, and things start to get done very quickly. So we're hoping, and as you can see here, they put out the new information that they did rise significantly in their reserves. So that means money is pouring into Iraq. Give us the rate. Okay, we need to see the rate a lot. Give us the rate. Give us the rate. Give us the rate. There's no longer needing to wait. Give us the rate and let it go and move on. Because here's the thing, the whole world is waiting on this rate. And not just the whole world waiting on this rate, but the CBI is tired of talking about it. The CBI is tired, of everyone talking about when are you going to drop the zeros? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? Just get it over with. And I'm pretty sure Alok wants to get it over with too, because the way he was sounding at end of the year, he really wanted to get it over with as well. But then he had to extend it because Musa was so in quote unquote in bad shape at that time. He didn't feel comfortable releasing at that time because so many civilians were trapped under Mosul and ISIS and all that stuff, right? And the media wasn't a good timing for Iraq in the media as well. It's a perfect time now, because the media is saying, victory, victory, victory. It's a perfect time right now. Take advantage of that victory. Take advantage of the environment and that they're in right now of this victory. Even though they still have things to go, they still have to be in war. But what did we say back in 2015? We said that the God said that the RV would happen while they were still in war, and they are still in war, right? They are still in war. So, now of course that was 2 years ago. Things can drastically change from there. Or they can hear it and then change it up like they always do. Everything that's in our community says, right? So I don't know what's going to happen, guys and girls, but they're able to use their credit cards in and out of the country. They're talking about the dollars drastically declining inside the country. They're talking about the ATMs. They're talking about the reserves have increased. They're talking about reconstruction. They presented the economic reforms to the World Bank last week and the IMF. British is coming in to rebuild in 2018. America is about to rebuild in a couple of weeks. You got the headquarters of Baghdad that's going to be opening up. Mike, the IMF headquarters in Baghdad are going to be opening up. Good news from the parliamentary finance talking about they're going to increase the living conditions and for the employees and I'm guessing citizens and stuff like that in a few days. All these things, they're going to be reviewing the laws, amending the laws that's to benefit the citizens' living conditions. They passed some type. I think they told the numbers in the budget, the supplementary budget. They're ready to open the budget. All these things are happening right in front of our face, and we'll see how it goes. Other than that, I don't know what else to say, but just hang in there and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in July, and then if not, let's see what happens in August, and if not, we'll continue all the way on to 1118. Talk to you guys later. Eyes open. See you tomorrow. I'll be back with another article tomorrow, and we'll just keep it going until 1118 or until they change the rate and release themselves, because it has to be stressful for the CBI and Alok to hide this information and all the things that they're doing in country from the general world. So it just get it over with, Alok. Release yourself from the pressure. Get it over with and move on, and then deal with the international world. All right, so that's it for me. Eyes open. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.